Hey, Level Up listeners, if you want to start booking five-figure weddings, then it's time to start curating a five-figure experience. Get started today with our Client Experience Bundle. Charging higher rates and booking higher quality weddings both require elevating your client experience, and our bundle is going to help you do just that. We are here to equip you with everything you need to impress your high-wealth clients and full-service wedding planners. With this guide, you are going to save yourself hours of troubleshooting and years of potential setback. Now, with this Client Experience Bundle that we've put together for you, you're going to have everything at your fingertips to elevate your communication and your processes both pre-wedding day and post-wedding day. This bundle not only includes email templates, but it also includes a customizable proposal template and professional guides. If you're looking to upsell your clients to serve them really well without feeling salesy, we also include polished and professional templates that provide your client with a feeling that you have their best interest at heart while helping you increase your profits. One of my favorite things about this bundle is that it includes our style guide. Dressing for the occasion demonstrates to your client and the creative team that you respect their event and also showcases a team player mindset. It's truly an incredible resource. Head over to thelevelupco.com/shop and position yourself at the top of the market and grab our Client Experience Bundle today.
This is the Level Up Podcast. I'm Taylor Petrinovich.
And I'm Kelly Gilster of 618 Studios.
And we are on a mission to help wedding filmmakers and photographers level up their businesses so you can make more and work less.
We want to help you confidently take your business from mainstream to luxury, and it all starts right here. Well, hello, friends. Thank you so much for joining us for another conversation. I'm here with Taylor and our special guest, Will. Taylor, how are you?
I'm great. I'm excited to be on our third week of our Rising Star series here with Will. We've been trying to make sure we incorporate filmmakers and photographers. So Will's our second videographer that we're going to be talking about in this series. And Will, I have to say that I feel like your story parallels some of the filmmakers who grew really quickly in this industry, maybe like Julia Kentner vibes, because you've only been around for a few years and you've skyrocketed so quick. So we're really excited to dig into your story, what's been working for you, what your struggles are, and all that good stuff. But before we dive into that, would you mind just introducing yourself to the listeners, telling them a little bit about you and your business, all those things?
Yeah, so my name is Will, obviously. I've been filming weddings for around 3 or 4 years. Originally started with another company, and then in January of 2024 was like, I think I can probably do this on my own. I kind of was liking it with my old company, but I was like, I want to do things better. I think I can take this and elevate it even more. And so I left my company in January of 2024 and started Will Whiteley Films, which is now my company, and just been hitting the ground running ever since, just trying to, like you said, really wanted to grow fast and grow quick. And so, now I'm here just, like I said, starting out year 2. Can't be much happier than I am now. It's been going well.
Gosh. I mean, we're recording this in February of 2025. So you've been in business for 13 months, like your entrepreneurial journey. That's amazing.
Yeah. We learned quick and, like I said, rolled the punches and I was really not wanting to I heard the stories of people getting stuck, and I was like, how can I just not get stuck in this the situation of being oh, I've been doing this a long time, can't really grow. And so I was like, let's just hit the ground running, and went 0 to 100 super fast, and it was so crazy and so hectic. But yeah, like I said, only in 13 months, and it sometimes feels a little crazy to tell people. I'm like, yeah, I've only been in business 13 months, and they're like, oh my gosh, what the heck? So I'm thankful, and I'm glad things have gone well for me, and I'm very blessed and thankful.
Can you take us on a little bit of a journey? 13 months isn't too long to cover, so we'll probably be able to get through it pretty quick. Can you kind of walk us through maybe month by month, quarter by quarter, what you were going through, what was in your mind, what you were doing in order to grow to where you are today? Because your business looks completely different here at month 13.
Yeah. So off the gate, I was just I didn't really even know what I didn't know. So kind of in December of 2023, I was like, all right, I think I'm going to leave. I'm going to figure out what I want to do. And so kind of month 1, I just started out just trying to build like connections. And so like made my Instagram account, found like a Knoxville videographer friend. His name's Skylar Ball. And kind of like latched onto him a bit and just kind of like learn from him, see what he was doing. That was kind of like the early months, like second shooting for him, learning from him, basically trying to soak it all in of like, what is someone doing that is working for them? And how can I kind of like put my own twists on it to kind of help it excel? So in the first early months, I was doing a ton of free stuff. That's one thing, kind of my first tip I always give people is like, just be kind of like a yes man in the beginning. Every opportunity is a great opportunity. So whether it be styled shoots for free or like I said, second shooting, or even an opportunity that might not be like super like desirable, all opportunity is great opportunity and you never know what's going to come of it. And so that kind of led me to the early years. And then I got my first big break, really getting a nice wedding inquiry from downtown Nashville. And so basically just, I like called it like that was like my NBA finals where I was like, I have to knock this wedding out of the park. It's like really a wedding that's probably like 4 or 5 steps above where I'm at. And I really need to kill it. So I like invested a ton of time, money, effort, like researched the place, really was like, oh, I want to knock this wedding out of the park. Ended up meeting so many great photographers and planners there. Um, and then, yeah, they were just kind of able to catapult me into kind of where I'm at now of the next step of like, okay, I kind of can get a little bit of a basis with my business, but now I want to grow into the next step. And that's where I started looking into education and how can I kind of refine my craft. So that kind of led me to late 2024 where I was getting like good steady flow weddings at kind of a price range that I was happy with for the moment, as well as able to kind of excel, make more connections, meet more people, to kind of lead me into this 2025 season where it's like now my portfolio is a little bit better. I've got more connections. So that's how I would kind of sum it up quickly is that learning really quickly while also trying to meet a lot of people really fast.
Yeah. And just for context, what is your business looking like for 2025? What are you charging? How many weddings do you have?
So I'm at 12 right now at a base price of around 5K. My average booking is probably around like 6 because like that's one of kind of like my struggles. I'm getting a lot of people booking my base at 5K, but that's really it. Like I'm like kind of struggling to get to the second and third packages or collections. But yeah, right around 5K is 6K is around my average booking price.
That's amazing. I mean, in just a year, you were able to go from 0 to 5 to 6,000. I mean, I think that took me 4 years to get to, 3 years, 4 years. So, I mean, you're already on this exponential growth path, which I feel like proves the opposite of what most people think, in that it has to be this like long drawn out timeline in order to grow. But I feel like you're proof of the opposite. So, if somebody's listening to this and they're like, oh, I just don't know if I'm ready. I feel like I haven't been around long enough to start growing. What would be your advice to them?
My advice would just to be like, just be able to kind of look yourself and like know you belong. Like you, if you believe in your craft, believe in your business, there's nothing that separates you apart between someone that's been doing it a year versus 10 years. If you truly like in your heart believe like, oh, I'm doing the best I can, I put the time in and effort. It's not as important how long you've been doing it versus what you've been doing with that time. So I think that sometimes like I can get into the room and like get a little overwhelmed and someone comes up to me and is like, yeah, I've been in business 20 years. And I'm like a little starstruck. But like I said, sometimes you just have to kind of remind yourself like, oh, my work is great. My business is great. I'm trying really hard. And so it doesn't necessarily matter as much. I've only been doing this for a year.
It's
Yeah.
not how long you've been in business, it's what you've been doing with that time. I feel like that's such a piece of wisdom right there.
Yeah.
Yes,
Um,
I loved that. It's so true because Taylor and I love to say on the podcast, like, the time is gonna pass anyways, but, like, whether you decide to really go for it and, like, take action in the way that you want to, and honestly, like you have, Will, in the last 13 months, like, that's the difference between someone who's sitting here maybe in year 6 or 7 of their business and they're struggling to, like, fill up their year, or, get to that over 5K mark, is just like going into it and getting serious about your business, like doing everything you can, pouring everything you can into ensuring. And I kind of loved what you said too about, you started off beginning of last year,
and you said, "I'm just gonna be a yes man, and I'm just gonna figure it out." And I think that's so true. In the beginning of our business, it's great to say yes to lots of different things because you have to figure out what it is that you actually like doing, you know? And then once you've kind of once you're able to like pinpoint, you're not just throwing darts on the board, but now you're starting to kind of see where the darts are collecting that you actually enjoyed the project, then that's where you came in right at that perfect time. I think it was probably what about like the 9-month mark in your business or whatever that you were like, okay, I'm liking where these darts are falling here in this specific area. Now, how can I have education that supports where I can throw those darts and nail those darts in that area every single time? So that's really cool.
Yeah, 100%. Like I always tell people, like in year one, I like overbooked heavily. I think I did like 30 weddings in year one, at like $2,000 a piece, and it was just because I was like, I just want reps. I just want reps. Every opportunity is a good opportunity. If someone's like, hey, let's drive 5 hours away, and I only have a budget of $1,000, I was getting in the car and I was going. And like I
That
said,
was
that
me.
kind of
That was me in
that
2011 for sure. It's
yeah,
great. It's like it's
yeah.
so good to be able to just like say yes. And when you're young like that and you could just like go for it, go for it.
Yeah, and like I said, it was able to kind of like I said, even kind of like financially fund me a little bit more, better to be able to go to things like networking events and buy education. So I think I always tell people like in year one, don't be afraid to like overbook. Yes, it can make year one really strenuous, and you have a backlog sometimes of like 12 weddings. But when you get to the other end, the light at the end of the tunnel, it's so much better because it's like, yeah, like I said, I was able to afford networking events, afford education. It just like hockey sticked my business growth for sure. I would do it again. I would book 30 weddings in year one every time.
Yeah. No, I think that's such a good strategy. I think that people forget that sometimes there's only certain things you can gain from volume in the beginning, and you have to learn from experience, and you have to get those reps under your belt. And then it's not until later years that you start refining,
Hmm.
you start whittling down the amount of weddings that you book. But I kind of want to hear about your mindset. So you obviously from the very beginning looked at this as more of a sprint. You're like, how can I get to my end objective of having like a profitable and sustainable business from the very beginning, which I don't think is the case. I think that's actually pretty abnormal, but I'm very similar to you in that way. I think most people are very
Hmm.
into the art and into the craft and into like the romantic side of weddings instead of the business side of weddings. So at that like 9-month mark, right before you decided to start investing in education, what was your mindset? Like what were you realizing that okay, I need something a little bit more to get me to where I want to go?
Yeah, so I think I've talked about this a lot, like I said with my colleagues and stuff, and I think you hit the nail on the head. Where like a lot of times people can get maybe a little too caught up in like the creative and like the design of it, into where it's like they get so obsessive over making the best wedding films they can that they kind of forget about everything else. And what I was kind of thinking in my head is like I was like, making great wedding films is obviously the most important thing, but it's much more than that. There's so many probably great wedding filmmakers that are stuck at the 2 to 3 thousand range that almost like they don't know what they don't know, that they don't realize there's a whole business side on the left. So basically, at the 8 9 month mark, I was sitting here like, okay, I feel like I've kind of mastered the 2 to 3 thousand range, and I have no idea how to, what are these people that you hear like, oh, they're charging 10K, 20K. I'm like, well, I don't even know where to start with that. That's going to take me 20 years at this rate. And so that's where I was like, I obviously don't know what I don't know. And so that's when I like really leaned into education and like coaching. So I was like, well, the best way for me to find out is just, like I said, get into education, get into classes, and learn from the people that are at the top. They're like, here's how we got from point A to point B.
Yeah. I know that you were in our fall mastermind this most recent round in 2024, and we're so proud of all of the growth that you've had. I feel like it says a lot about somebody to dive into a program and actually put everything they're learning into action. It's one thing to sit and learn and have those pieces of knowledge enter your ears and your mind, and it's another thing to execute. Um, so I would love to kind of hear a little bit about what you learned and what you implemented throughout Mastermind that you feel has been a pivotal change in your business.
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing that the mastermind showed me that I think was like really foreign to me going into it is that kind of like we were saying is that there's so much more than the wedding film. So like a great way that it's been framed. And I've always kind of like called it like it's like a museum a little bit. Like people get really focused on the art, but not the frame, and then the people that are coming to the museum, how their experience is. And that was like what really shifted my whole mindset, was like it's so much more than the film. It's how you act on the wedding day, it's what your website looks like, it's the frame and the environment that your art is in is equally, if not more important than the actual art. So I feel like sometimes. And so that's really what Level Up has like shown me, is that my website is super important. How it's designed, how it's laid out, the experience that people have. And then on the wedding day, it's much more than just I'm trying to make this great wedding film. It's I'm trying to work with the team, with the photographer, caterer, planner, florist, everyone. It's all meshed together to kind of make like this great experience for everyone involved, the couple included. And so that's like what I would say really helped me level up per se, is focusing on the experience and the things kind of outside of the wedding film.
What are some of those experiential elements that you've started to implement specifically?
So I all like one small thing that I always get a lot of like comments on is I always wear a suit and bow tie to a wedding. No matter the event or whatever. And if I were to give someone one small piece of advice, I would say buy a suit, wear it to every wedding. It gets the most compliments ever. They're like, I've never seen a videographer wear a suit. It looks so great, and like it just shows you come in like you're serious, like and that can kind of help, in my opinion, with the like, oh, I've only been in business 1 year, is that you just look more experienced when you come in with the suit. Your second shooter's wearing a suit, you know what you're doing. It just gives that perception of like, oh, I've been doing this 10 years. As well as like my website is the next thing that I like obsessed over, the fonts, the colors of it, just really trying to really make sure my ideal client, my ideal bride, like feels called to my website.
The one secret weapon that propelled me and my business into the luxury market, my website. And truth be told, I have never had a custom website made for me. I am a huge fan of templates, and there's truly no better place to buy a website template than Tonic Site Shop. Unlike any other template on the market, Tonic Site Shop website templates elevate and transform the way you show up online. They're super simple but highly customizable plug-and-play templates for Show It websites have truly transformed my business and allowed me to showcase my brand in the best light possible, all while attracting high-quality clients and wedding planners to inquire with me, resulting in hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of bookings that I'm confident would not have been possible without a polished website template like the one that I got from Tonic. You can grab your own website template at tonicsiteshop.com and use our code LEVELUP15 for 15% off your purchase. Again, that is code LEVELUP15 for 15% off your website template from Tonic Site Shop. So get started by elevating your online presence with a Tonic Site Shop template for your website today. I feel like people definitely neglect the brand positioning element. Like you've been saying, it's one thing to have a beautiful piece of artwork, but if that artwork is in a dingy dungeon somewhere, is it really going to gain the appreciation that it deserves? Because it's a beautiful piece of art, but as soon as you put it in a nice, well-lit museum with marble floors and you invite people in their Sunday best to come look, it automatically probably shifts the way that it's perceived in the end. And I feel like that's our entire mission at the Level Up Co. is to really help people nail down the brand positioning so that their art can be seen for what it really is and appreciated by people who have the ability to appreciate it at the level that it should be. Yeah. So we're so proud of everything that you've done. And the suit thing, can we just say that one more time for the listeners? Like one more.
Yeah, the suit is just the best piece of advice ever. When I say photographers, planners, guests, couples, we're talking double digit times someone's come to me and said, I've never seen a videographer wear a suit, or I've never seen someone dress so nice. Thank you so much for showing that you're serious about the like. I've had like the mother of the bride come to me and she was like, your suit just looks so good. Like, I appreciate all the effort you put in. So it's like small things like that that some people may not think about, that just is like I tell people all the time, it's so funny. I was like, one of the biggest reasons why I think I've grown so quick is I wear suits. And so then people remember me and then they refer me, and then we're just snowballing.
Yeah, it's like it's huge. You have clients like, yeah, with Paul wearing a suit too, and it took him way too many years to adopt onto the suit game. So like the fact that you're doing it like in year 1, like Listeners, take note for sure. But like you're gonna get compliments from the client, you're gonna get compliments from the family members, you're gonna get compliments from the guests, you're gonna get compliments from the creative team, and it's not that big of a deal. So if you're sitting here rolling your eyes about the suit thing, you can do it, I promise. Like the performance suits are so good now, like they're breathable, they're stretchy, they look great. Like there's never a better time sitting here in 2025 to go and buy a suit that is actually comfortable and is going to honestly automatically scale your business.
And for the ladies, like that's sorry, but a dress and like a small heel. Like if I can haul all of my super heavy tripods and light stands in my wagon through like pea gravel by myself at 11:30 at night in a dress and heels, so can you. Okay, it's fine. I feel like I mean the compliments are one thing, but I feel like what goes a little bit deeper than like receiving compliments and being appreciated by what you're wearing is you're showing respect for the event, which means that you automatically are at a caliber of creative partner that sets you apart from everyone else. And I think that one mistake that people run into is that they wait until they feel like it's an appropriate time to dress for that level of event, instead of dressing that way now, no matter what level they're at. I hear people being like, oh, I'm still doing barn weddings, or I'm still doing, the weddings at the event center down the street from me. I feel like I'm going to be significantly overdressed if I wear a suit. And I feel like that's actually the best time to start, because that's going to set you apart from everybody else. We don't want to blend in. You don't want to be just like everyone else. You want to be just a little bit better so that when people are thinking, who should I refer to that wedding? You're standing out in their mind as somebody who rose to the occasion. And I feel like that's one of the fastest way to grow, is just to stand out just a little bit from everybody else.
100%. I've always like my whole like theory, even like my whole like business model, even like day one, it was like I'm not dressing where I am now. I'm dressing where I want to be. And so like like I said, wedding 3, I was in a suit, and like I said, it was a barn wedding, and I like my second shoot, I wore a suit, and no one else was really wearing suits, and I was like, well, we're not wearing suits for now. We're wearing suits for 2 years from now, and then like I said, I just wanted to make it like a part of my process just out the gate. So it's like it's commonplace. If you worked at Will Whiteley Films 3 months in or 5 years down the road, he was in a suit and bow tie every time, and that's like what I want my brand to represent, if that makes sense.
You said something really quickly. I just want to like highlight. You said, I'm not doing it for now. I'm doing it for 2 years down the road. And I feel like that can apply to literally every area that we are working towards elevating within our businesses. So your website right now is not for right now. It is for 2 years from now. The work you're putting in to refine your craft and learning what to look out for on a wedding day that will speak to those luxury clients is for 2 years from now. Like all these things are for 2 years from now. Like the saying of, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, and the next best time to plant a tree is today. I feel like that saying applies so much to business. Like we can't change the past. We can't change the fact that we've sat around being complacent or plateaued in our businesses for several years. The best you can do is literally get started today so that in 2 years from now, you can reap what you've just sowed. What other things, Will, are you currently working on that you are hoping will springboard you over the next 2 years?
Yeah, so right now I think I'm really working on like my process with the planners. That's something I'm really trying to focus on. I know like the honeybook controversy stuff came out, and so I'm really just trying to like focus on how can I make the planner's life as easy as possible. That's like what I'm really locked in, focused on, whether it be through the booking process, on the day of, giving them teasers, giving them content. My main goal is to make all the vendors around me make their life easier, because I really feel like my films are kind of where I'm at. The website is pretty good, and so now it's like, all right, let's put all this stuff into action. And so now I'm, like I said, just trying to find ways and opportunities to make everyone else's life around me easier, even if it makes mine a little bit harder, because I just want people to always remember me as like, oh, he was such a great team player. He was so great on the wedding day. I always feel like that's going to make you stand out much more than a wedding film that might be delivered 2 or 3 months from now. That planner might not even really remember the wedding. They have 20 weddings that they do a year. They're not going to remember the film, but they'll definitely remember if I helped them carry something when their, stuff was falling over. So and remembering the booking process and oh how that was easy to book with Will. It wasn't super hard. And so those are things I'm kind of obsessing over currently, as we're kind of like in booking season right now, getting a lot of opportunities and stuff. Is like how can I make planners' lives just that much easier.
Absolutely. It's so important. And just as like, you know, for us as creatives, we want to so heavily focus on the art. Like we've been talking about this museum concept of this beautiful piece of art in the museum. I from the beginning, and I think everybody should also adopt this, is that the client experiencing our final form of art that we're presenting to them is only going to be like perceived in a certain way based on that wedding day experience, that pre-wedding day experience, that post-wedding day experience. Like all of those things, let's say like getting the ticket at the museum and walking into the museum and what is it about the lighting and all of like all the touch points, right? Before you get to that art piece to like really sit there and enjoy it. Um, that's one thing that I feel like Taylor and I are just like constantly just like repeating, like being that easy button push. Like you said, Will, like being the joy to work with. No, the planner may not sit there and watch your 8-minute film, but they are going to remember all of the amazing touch points that they experienced with you, starting from that very first inquiry, starting next from how easy you were to look at the timeline with them, be just a team player on the wedding day. And then after the fact, like what are your touch points after the fact with that planner? There's just like so many little like micro moments that mean for like big moves in your business. And so I'm always like, when I think of like filmmakers that get really, really caught up in the art of it, I'm always thinking like, okay, you know, yes, that's great. You're producing this beautiful piece of art, but what was your experience on the wedding day? Did you like serve the client really well? Did you serve the creative team really well? Because I was always like, if a client did not enjoy the experience with us on the wedding day, when they look back on that film, that's like going to be such a thing that they're going to remember. Like, did they make me redo the first look 6 times? Did they make me like apply my lip gloss 6 times? Like, here's this shot that's like so fake and like, whatever it is. But yeah, like, long story short, make sure that the process from inquiry to delivery is just as, notable as the art is that you deliver to them.
And I would like to add really quickly that this sounds so basic, but like you would be shocked at how many people are not doing these things or doing all of them. Maybe they're doing one or two, but they really have a lot of work in refining these things. So if that's you who's listening to this, take note. Like, how many times are you being inconsistent? Maybe you have like 2 weddings a year where you're just like really checking all these boxes and being so amazing to work with because you were so excited about this wedding. But how are you treating the wedding that you were the least excited about shooting this year? Like, are you treating it the same way? Are you still checking all those boxes? Because I feel like so many people really only aim to like hit the weddings out of the park, the ones that they're most excited about, and the rest kind of like fall to the wayside. But we all know that luxury is consistency, and so being consistent above all else will set you apart. Go the extra mile when no one else wants to for that wedding.
100%, 100%. I've always said like because I feel like Kelly said it well. Like a lot of people, it's good to like obsess over the art, but like give some love to the process too, because like that's just as important. I've always said that two films that look exactly the same and one has a great process versus one that doesn't have a great process will be drastically different in their experience. 'Cause like you said, the film could be fantastic, but I say the word perception all the time, and that's like what I like feels like. If they had a bad experience when they go to open the film, they're going to be like, "Oh, I remember this negative thing or that negative thing," and so there's watching your film going into it with a bad mindset. But if they had a great experience from start to finish through the process on the wedding day, they're going to open the film and be like, "This is going to be the best film I've ever seen in my life." And that's like what I always like. That's been like my like mantra per se, is like I obsess over the first part because then it sets you up for like they're gonna love this film.
Yes, I love what you said that. I'm going to obsess over the first part because then I know that they're just gonna obsess about their film. It's so true. Like, it's such a missed mark in a lot of business owners' approach, and so I'm so glad that you noticed it very early on in your career, and I think that that really just goes to show, like, how much you've experienced success-wise in 13 months is, like, really due to that. Thinking out taking off the blinders, we talk about that all the time, like, in on the podcast and in mastermind and stuff, but, like, removing those blinders to see outside of ourselves as creatives and how we can just, like, collaborate with all, serve all really well, and then everything else is really gonna fall into place. It's so true, you guys.
Yeah. Okay, so here in 2025, we have a really great wedding season ahead of you, Will, but I'm sure you are not done growing. You have your sights set on some pretty big goals. What are you currently working on? What are your current struggles? What are you doing right now?
Yeah, so I think right now my what I'm currently working on is just prepping for, like I said, my Super Bowl weddings that I say every year, where I have like three or four. My first one coming up in April. So right now I'm just really prepping for that, seeing how I can like elevate that experience. It's with a new planner, a new opportunity, new photographer. So it's like we're just starting the ball game all over with these people, trying to just really make sure I'm refined on that. And then kind of from like a more broad business standpoint is that still just kind of pushing the envelope with pricing. I've been always pretty open that I am pretty aggressive with my pricing still, because I haven't yet found the resistance per se. And so I think I am now starting to kind of finally feel that. Like there was a little bit in January just to like show like some worry. I was like, oh, it's a little quiet here. We're in mid-January. I haven't really heard a lot. So that would like that still does happen to me too. Or like the quiet spells. I'm like, I haven't booked a wedding in a month and a half. Like especially coming from a year one doing 30 weddings to now only having like 12. It is like a little bit like a culture shock. So kind of figuring that out and like navigating like, oh, it is a little more quiet. I'm not getting an inquiry every week. It might be once a month or whatever. And so if anything, it's making me really want to like I said, go back to kind of refining that process, because I'm not getting as many opportunities. I'm not getting 2 inquiries a week or an inquiry a week. It's like I'm only getting an inquiry a month, so I got to knock that one out of the park. I got to make sure that they're having the best experience start to finish. So kind of that mind shift and the struggle of like, oh, I've only got 10 weddings when last year I had 30. It's just like that culture shock is still kind of, I'm feeling it.
But you're probably making the same amount of money, if not more, right?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah. So I'm gonna be. I should end up making a little bit more than I did last year. At about half the weddings. Like I said, got a couple inquiries right now that are pretty warm. Hoping to get them for sure. And then yeah, like I said, it is kind of cool to be like my max for this year will probably be like 14. That'll probably be what I want to do. So like I'm excited to have a little bit more free time to just kind of even keep the snowball going of like figuring out how can I make my business go from 5 to 10K and so on and so forth.
Yeah, and that's the great thing about then being able to have more of that work-life balance is that now you have that, like, space, like you said, to, like, refine your strategies and get strategic. You're not just, like, weekend after weekend, charging the batteries, shooting the wedding, coming home, doing the stuff, and, like, I mean, I've been there too, Taylor's been there too, like, you get, like, so stuck in, like, working in your business, you're not able to work on your business, and, like, I think that's where real, like, plateaus start to happen too, because all of a sudden, you've just been, like, eyes down in your business, and then you come up for air for a second and you're like, "Whoa, what just happened?" Like, I need to try to, like, maybe raise my prices a little bit more. I need to work on maybe some website stuff. I need to go through a little bit of a refresh now. We all have times where we have to do that. And so I love that you're doing, maxing out at 14 and knowing that you're reserving that space to refine the strategy even further. That's so great.
Yeah, 100%. Because like that's kind of like what I also would see is that I would talk to photographers and videographers and like, yeah, I'm on year 4. I'm doing 25 weddings, and I was like, oh, then like I'll ask them the price and like, oh, I can never really raise prices because I'm always working, and like to me like that was like the point. I was like, well, maybe, and like I said, I know finances, budgeting. I was like, well, maybe plan ahead and make 2026. So like that's the year. Like I'm going to save up a little bit the year before. In 2026, I'm only going to do 15. Because I was like, you're never going to get out of the hole. If like you did say it really well, okay, like if you're too busy working in your business, you're not going to be able to work on your business. And so you have to at least some point find that balance, whether you, like I said, once every couple of years, be like, oh, I'm going to scale back and really work on my business. And then you can kind of go back to working in your business a little bit more. But like I said, it kind of goes back to like the museum theory, where it's like if you're always just working on the art, then the museum would eventually just come outdated, and
Yeah.
no one, people will see the outside of the museum and be like, I'm going to go to the next one. And so that's how the perception and working on your business is so important.
So important.
Yeah, so good. Okay, well, this has been such a great conversation. So many little nuggets of takeaways for people to start implementing in 2025. The biggest one, you guys go buy a suit or a dress with like little half-inch heels. It's fine. Go do it. Will, where can people connect with you? Where can they find you online in case they want to say hi?
So yeah, so it's just willwhiteleyfilms.com is my website, and then Will Whiteley Films on Instagram, and yeah, those are the two places you can find me.
Amazing. Well, Will, we are so excited to see what you do in the next 13 months of business. We'll probably have to have you on again and hear about all of the exponential growth that you've made again. But we are just cheering from you. Everyone listening, go take a look at Will's work, his website, connect with him on Instagram, and we wish you an amazing 2025 season.
Thank you so much. I can't wait to. Like I said, thank you guys for all the help y'all been. I sing your guys' praises. It's been a wonderful year, and I credit a lot of you guys to you.
Thank you for joining us in today's conversation. Please help us reach more filmmakers and photographers like you by taking a screenshot and sharing it to social media. And don't forget to tag us at The Level Up Co.
And join us again next week, same time, same place, as we continue to level up the industry together.